welcome to ADHD Friendly. I am Patty. I am a professionally certified ADHD coach and the creator of the ADHD Friendly website and tools and membership community. I invite you to check it out at ADHDfriendly.com. If you're looking for support to take you from struggling with ADHD challenges to thriving with your ADHD brain. Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a commercial where they're always like, okay, I'm sorry. If you are listening to this podcast and you'd like to check out the visuals I'm going to be sharing, there's going to be a lot of visuals today. Check out my YouTube channel. ADHD Friendly is the channel name, and it's where you can check out all the visuals for every episode. All right, this is episode 156.
Woohoo!
156. I'm going to share a yoga celebration.
Woohoo!
And what I purchased this week. And then I have a tip this week to help you just explore some ADHD friendly ways to keep up with your medication. So if you take medication for ADHD or for anything, even if it's just vitamin supplements, and you want a way to keep up with it, well, actually my tip is more related to picking up prescriptions, but I have some tips to help stay on top of that. And then our topic for this episode is tuning up your medicine cabinet. It's fall, it's flu and I was going to say flea and tick season.
It's flu and tick season.
They're out there. I almost said it again. It's cold and flu season.
Yes.
It's also fleas and ticks, sure, but we're not focusing on that. But I'm going to give you some tips and share some new pill sorters that I've been trying out the last few weeks.
Woohoo.
And then, as always, I will wrap up with my book for the week and a quote to share. Well, let's dive in with my celebration. What is my celebration? It is a yoga celebration. I'm like, what was it? Sometimes I plan this out and then my brain is so now, not now. I write it down. I'm totally into all of the details. And then I sit here and I'm like,
what are we doing?
What was I doing? Yeah. Yeah. But now I'm back. I'm back to it. Guys, I am celebrating 3 years, Becca. And you were here when I started this.
I was.
3 years of my yoga practice.
Wow.
Only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings. Because like nothing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Because she knows that's what I say. I have done this since October 11th, marked because this comes out after that. 3 years of me doing yoga, minimum of 5 minutes. When I first started the first year, it was a minimum of 2 minutes. Then I increased it to a minimum of 5 minutes. Every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday since October 11th, 2021.
That's insane.
Guys, if you followed this, you know I have shared many times, I struggled to do anything with any consistency for literally years. And this podcast has really given me a lot of the structure I needed. I've had a number of successes, one of them being putting this podcast out every single week from that same month of 2021 with Becca's help. And it's about accountability that you guys give me to continue doing it. It's about honoring my minimum sustainable amount of time when I set up that mini habit. And my other celebration is I have never once in all 3 of those years done yoga on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Because that's my thing. If I tried to do it more than that, I just know it would have completely drained the energy. It would not have been sustainable. I committed to what I felt like I could do and keep up with. And I allow myself, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm low energy, to do the minimum and check the box and keep moving forward. So I just want to celebrate. There are ways that work for our brains when we lean into what works for us and let go of the way other people do things and do it the way that's your thing.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. What I purchased this week? Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's going to change, but holidays are coming. But right now, nothing. Feel good about that. All right. Now my tip for this week, also related to medication.
Okay.
So my tip is related to staying on top of renewing your prescription medication, particularly if you have ADHD medication you're taking to support your ADHD brain. It can be really, really challenging to renew it, to pick it up if you have to go to the pharmacy and pick it up, to remember to renew it in that very short window that you're allowed to renew in because it's a stimulant controlled medication. Right. You can't, kind of like be like, oh, I'm going to request that, more than 3 to 5 days early or whatever the rule is in your state. Some states allow you to request it through mail order. Some states do not.
Right.
Illinois does not.
You need to go through your doctor.
North Carolina did. I used to be
Oh,
able to
so
get-
that was a change for you
Oh
guys.
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know when I agreed to move here, it was going to make it so much harder for
It
my
is a
brain to
pain.
navigate that.
Yeah.
So here are some tips that, again, just explore what would help you if you struggle to keep up with this. This is one of the things I check in with my clients. I would say I'm not a medical health provider, so I am not at all qualified, or would it be ethical for me to give advice on medication itself, but I will help to support my clients create systems to keep up with refilling it, taking it, those systems that will help keep what they need on hand so they have it when they need it. So one tip is to write the renewal date in your digital calendar or on a physical planner, depending on what you use. So when you pick it up, write down that date so that you know, okay, I renewed it on this date, count out 30 days if that's the length of your subscription. If you are in a lovely place that you can get 90 days, count out 90 days, back it up the number of days that you're allowed to request the refill so that you have a reminder in place to request it. I know in my brain, I lose the thread of, I have it repeat in my calendar every month, but if I didn't refill it on the day that I had it on my calendar and I pick it up on a different day, that system completely falls apart. I have to go in and update the date that I picked it up. So it automatically resets to, like 27 days in the future. So it reminds me again. So do what you can to create an automatic reminder so that you're requesting your refill before it runs out. Especially right now, there's still shortages in the market.
Yes.
So if you are going on a vacation, if you are going to be leaving for school, all of those things that you want to keep in mind so that you are not having to try to figure out how to, kind of scrape by without what you need. Check and see if your state does allow you to get a 90-day supply, and maybe through mail order. So it's coming to your door. You'll probably have to sign for it, but 90 days to the door, as opposed to every 30 days, have to remember to renew and go to the pharmacy and pick it up in person and all this. So, that was an attitude.com editor's quote where they said, just check and see. I'm like, absolutely check and see if that would be something that would make it easier for you. And then set reminders to order it. So add details to create ease. Maybe I do it in my calendar reminder where it tells me what to do. It used to be the phone number for my doctor's office, and I had a little script that I literally typed into the notes section in the reminder. And I just had to go in and dial the number, and it told me push 2 to leave a message, read this, and then that was it.
Smart.
Now it has the link in there to go onto my doctor's portal, because that's how we're requesting refill now. Where if I have to remember what was the portal, how do I log in? I have all that information in my, exactly. I make it really easy for my future self to be able to do that. So again, login information, having that somewhere that you can find it. Build in a reward is my final tip.
I like that.
If you have a hard time with any piece of this, I have a hard time with all of it.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting.
which I'm going to share some tips on in a minute. So having new sparkly pill sorters is definitely sparkly, and it creates that sense of reward. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see how this works. It created that interest and sparkle in a routine that, can be like, all right. But build in a reward to either, make the phone call or go on and request it, or build something in if you have to go pick it up. There's a DQ right near my Walgreens.
Love Dairy Queen.
So if I can, build in a little ice cream reward, it's taken away the resistance of, I have to go to the pharmacy. I don't know if there's going to be a long line. I don't know if they're going to tell me I can only feel partial, like whatever the thing is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So an ice cream after this.
build in a reward for yourself if you need that to help pull you into keeping up with it more easily. I always say, if we incentivize what we're trying to do, we cut through a lot of the resistance. So lean into what works for you. And if a reward is something, allow yourself to do what that is so that it's working for you. All right, now a quick little reminder. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear my little promotion, but October is ADHD Awareness Month. And I would be remiss not to highlight the things that I've created to help support people who have ADHD to go from struggling to thriving with more ease and more consistently. My membership this month is focusing on fall organization because I'm not a big spring organization person. Getting ready to get hot outside. It's just not. I'm more like into the yard in the spring, the house in the fall. So we're focusing on today, at 12. All of my sessions are at 12 Eastern. At 12 Eastern, we're doing a live, what I call power hour session on laundry. And then on October 23rd, we're going to be focusing on a power hour focused on physical photos. So I'll give you a few tips on how to organize them, and then we'll spend the rest of the time body doubling while we work on our organizing our physical pictures. And then the last Wednesday of the month, October 30th, we have a plan your month session. So we're going to go step by step through my planning process. And if you are a member, you get all of my planning tools included in the membership, all of my on-demand courses. And for ADHD Awareness Month in October through October 31st, I'm offering 50% off either your first month of membership, or if you elect to join for a year, you can half off the entire first year. Just use coupon code 50OFF. That's 50OFF. Visit ADHDfriendly.com for more information. All right, now tune up your medicine cabinet time. So I learned a number of things tuning up my medicine cabinet. If you are interested in seeing pictures of the medicine cabinet itself and how it went from the before and after process, I invite you to check out episode 4 of this podcast from 2021. That was the first time I dove in and really fine-tuned and went through and inventoried my medicine cabinet. And then for this episode today, number one, I realized I didn't do it last year.
Right.
Which was really shocking because I have reminders. And what I realized I did was I looked at the expiration dates for the medications and there wasn't anything that was expiring.
Right, they were all fine.
So and this is definitely something my brain does. I saw that and I was like, oh, don't need to do anything. And I just, kind of went on. But I realized this year when I went back and looked at everything that I still would like to look at it every year, because just because something didn't need to be purchased because it didn't expire didn't mean I had enough on hand. So I didn't do the process. I didn't, kind of go through and really reorganize and do that tweak. So I reprinted out. So this is what I did. I shared this in my previous episode. I think I did this 2 years ago. I made a step-by-step process for how to do my tune-up for my medicine cabinet. So I now have this in my personal owner's manual. And it just reminded me, okay, I put on here, it takes about an hour. The notes are in my calendar reminder. And I just didn't follow them last year. So I'm doubling down to give myself that reconnection to it for next year, to even if the expiration dates all are good, to still take that little bit of time to go through and just tidy it up and make sure something isn't running out that I don't need to reorder, even if it hasn't expired. If I don't have it, it's not going to help. So that was an interesting little thing that I'm always kind of curious about my brain. I'm like, wow, look at my brain. It's really does these funny little blind spot things sometimes. But really want you to keep in mind as I go through some of the changes that I made, some of the pill sorters that I'm going to share with you this episode. Hold on to what works for you, let go of what doesn't, is always my mantra. One thing that I want to update, I always tweak things a little bit when I go back into them. So I had my inventory, and this is my literal inventory, which you can tell by like the corners are because they were taped to my medicine cabinet. I taped this to my medicine cabinet. So this was from 2021, and I updated just writing in it like when I replace things. And then what I noticed this year when I printed it out was I highlighted what I needed to buy. And I noticed and this kind of got kicked off because my husband had an upset stomach and he was looking for the Pepto-Bismol, which is kept in the fridge. And I realized it wasn't even on my list because it's not kept in the medicine cabinet. It's kept in the fridge, and we had run out. And because it wasn't on my list and it's out of sight, out of mind, I'm not checking it. No. And so there were two things when I did my inventory this year that never made the list for the last 3 years, that I realized, oh, I need to add them and I need to buy them. But it was a great example of the out of sight, out of mind. So I wanted to highlight that again. If you have something that's kept somewhere else, making sure that you have a master list with everything on it. So this is my updated this year's list. And because I start kind of getting like too many little bits of information in here, I highlighted when things are expiring or need to be replaced. And then I put little notes in here. So like my cough medicine and the Pepto-Bismol, they are extras because I order them from Costco and Sam's.
So you'll get them in
there are multiples. And so I put a note to myself to remember there are kind of like back stock in the back of the medicine behind the organizers, right? Because I don't want to order more and then end up with like so much medicine. There's no way we would ever use this before it expires. Yeah, exactly. Will we even use 3 before it expires? Probably not. But I don't want to forget it's there and buy more. Absolutely.
Totally, that's smart.
So I made little notes for that. And even for like, I noticed for sunscreen, I put a note to remind myself to buy it
for the season
in spring.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to hold up and I'll need fresh sunblock. So I put a note there to remind myself of that. So I feel really good about the update. This is going to actually, I have to put this to the side because this is going to get hung up.
Taped up
In my medicine cabinet. I don't need to hang up all of the past ones, but I just wanted to give you a sense. I like a spreadsheet. So I put mine in a spreadsheet. And again, it just gave me a chance to order what I needed. I made a running list as I went through. I brought all of my medicine cabinet bins down and I did it on a big table. And I went through and checked all the dates. I made a running list on a separate sheet of paper. And I wrote down, I was ordering from Sam's and Costco, depending on if they had a sale, if they delivered. And so
price option.
There's one more thing from Costco that hasn't arrived yet, but everything else is ready to go for the fall. And it feels so good to be ready for the fall that it is guys, this has paid off so many times over the years since I've done it, where my kids have come for like Christmas and somebody got sick.
Right.
And and I had everything on hand. Nobody had to run out to the store and try to figure out. And I have multiple, I have like liquid because some of my kids don't like to swallow the big horse pills.
Yeah.
So
having
what we need. Yeah, and it makes me feel like I'm doing, like I got my mom hat on and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Golly. So just sharing again, if you want more images of the original medicine cabinet tune-up, episode 4, if you want to kind of watch that process. But today I'm highlighting some new pill sorters and tools to help keep up with the routine of taking your medication once you have it on hand. So the first thing I want to share is I got tired of my little pill splitter. It just feels like it wasn't cutting it 100%. I'm very picky about the pill being cut exactly in half.
Right, with the line.
Yep. So I bought these pill splitters, little scissors.
No, that was a thing.
I know. Honestly, it reminds me of my dog nail clippers. The way that, because they're kind of carved in here.
Oh, yes. So that way
you
can
it also makes me really nervous. Makes me feel like
totally.
That's a little digression. Becca, how much was this?
$5.99.
$5.99 on Amazon. But I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't love them. So if you're like, maybe you'll use them better. It could be that I can't, because it's indented.
Right
you can
there,
see.
yeah.
Yep. They've got like that little carve out of it. I had a really hard time seeing exactly where the middle was to cut it and hold the pill. And sometimes it's really tiny.
Yeah.
So I found this hard to navigate. But again, I share the information because what works for somebody else may not work for me. And what doesn't work for me, it might work for you. Not my favorite things, but
you tried it.
It could be if it was like a larger pill.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, sure. Right.
It might be harder to cut with that little.
I use like the twisty one.
I've not used that. Is that good?
That's the only thing I've ever used when I've had to cut a pill before, and you put it in and you twist it.
And it cuts it in half?
It does. But I don't know, because you like it right on that line.
I
don't know if you can get close enough.
Yeah,
look at it.
I'm picky.
Yeah.
But that's me. Okay. And then, so I want to share, this is my favorite that I got 3 years ago. It's kind of worn and a little dirty as I'm looking at it. It's kind of like, oh, don't look close. But I like it because it has this little, doing it. Oh, I think I was holding it wrong. It has this little pop-up guy.
Oh, that is satisfying.
Very satisfying. I like the colorfulness. It's just a little large.
Yeah. Sure.
And it traveling or, to keep out on a counter or table or something, it's kind of bulky. So I decided, I like the accessible. I like the popping it up. They all still pop, after, 3 years of regular use, they all work great. It's just a little bulky. So I decided to try this little guy. Just the same thing. It's once a day. So it's not AM, PM or anything like that. It's just one time a day. And they just they flip up. So I have to say, this is what I noticed a little resistance. They're a little hard. Now it came in a 2-pack. How much was the 2-pack?
The 2-pack was $7.99.
$7.99 again on Amazon. I got it in blue. It came in a couple of different options. I like the little click. I do like the sound.
Yeah.
I just find because you're opening it from the center here, it's a little hard to open.
Yeah, maybe with like more use.
Yeah, but I have to say I've been using the twin of this, and it's not as hard as this one is right now. So I'm actually like, oh, okay, it has gotten a little easier over time.
Open it up.
But it's a really small little opening here, so it's kind of awkward to get into to open. not difficult. It might definitely be difficult if you have like little wider base of your finger. It's not difficult, but I always want to acknowledge if there's any resistance at all. I have a little resistance to this guy, just a little, not enough that's getting in my way, but over time it might if it doesn't continue. I've never had resistance to the bigger guy, except the bigger guy just takes up a lot of space in my drawer. So that's the little guy. If you travel a lot, I have never heard of these. I was joking with Becca earlier. These look like I watched The Wire with my husband a few years ago. These look like little like illegal drug baggies, except they're labeled pill mill. But they were called, what were they called?
Well, the pill bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just 100 in them, and they're $5.99.
$5.99. They're made for travel. They do have a little stamp on here. You can put AM, noon, PM.
And the day.
And the day. So you could, if you were traveling for a week, you could have 7 days. And what I like about these is they're in a bag. You can tuck them in like your jean pocket. They're very easily transportable because it's just a bag as opposed to a bulkier, even if you had a day, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's just an easy way to tuck it in your pocket and go. If it's pretty straightforward what you're taking. They also shared online, if you need to crush medicine and take it that way, you can put it in here. Smart. So very affordable. If you're traveling a lot, it's handy. So just something to consider. It could even be like, as I have like those little like snack bags that I'll throw pills in, but I'm like, okay, this definitely I like for, there's so much even less space than the snack bags of, the Ziploc bags. So those are something to consider if you travel a lot. Okay. So these are my favorites for this year for the weekly pills. This is a little
Vera
Bradley
travel organizer.
You can see the quilting travel organizer. It's got a little zip. And then inside it has the little pill sorter.
It's adorable.
Just one a day.
Yeah.
Where you just, you put it on the side. So you just pull up the, whoop. It's durable. It's not breaking. It has 7 days and then a day for extra. So if you have like supplements or something that, or like I like to like throw in Advil or Tylenol. It's clear. I'm a big fan of being able to just look in it and see if I've taken something where I don't have to open it and check and see, so you can see into it.
And the little cute quilted case with it.
But that's the other thing. If you don't want people to see your medication, it's discreet and private, and it's small and so able to tuck into your travel bag really easily.
And that one was $12.50.
$12.50. Come on. This because I think it'd make a cute stocking stuffer.
Literally, it's so smart.
So cute.
Think about that you'd want a pill sorter, but like that size too.
It's an easy thing. It's thoughtful. Okay, this is my sparkly new one. It came in this little, it's called multifunctional split storage box.
Yeah.
It came in this little guy, and it looks like this. Come on, this is sparkly.
That's very cool.
So this is a 2 a day. So if you take something morning and evening for an entire week, look at this, guys. It's got a little push button. It's definitely gadget friendly. You push the button, you lift it up, you fill it one day for each, or one for each day. So like I was saying with the little baggie, you could take your little single travel and tuck it in your pocket. The bag is just so much, less
space.
Yeah, and it's not going to show on the outside of your pocket that you've got this little dispenser. It does look like a little Pez dispenser. And it just has these little push open at the end.
Nice.
And even the end say AM. It's up here.
AM.
I think it says MA. I don't think I have it reserved, but trust me, it says AM and PM. So that you can see if you've taken your medication for each day. And then it goes, so if you're traveling and you're going around, and you can just take the days you're traveling, or you can put them all in here and take the entire case. Very handy, very fun. And this little guy is
$17.99.
$17.99. Again, prices can change on Amazon, but that's the price it was when I purchased it. And I just found it very sparkly and really easy to use. So I like that one a lot. And the colors, just love it.
Great.
Okay, one other guy that I did not buy because I didn't need it, and I just couldn't justify it because it's more expensive, but I didn't want to not showcase it, because if you have to take medication 3 or 4 times a day, you need a system that supports that. So this is called the Med Center system. This is what it looks like.
Look at that.
Right? So every day it has 31 of these little individual capsules. And then if you look down here, each one has morning, noon, evening, night. So you can put, if you have to take something like every 6 hours or whatever it is, you put them in here and it sits here in the tray in front.
Very cool.
So that's the day of the month that's pulled, and you can see if you've taken your medicine throughout the day, and then you can stock it for the entire month at one time and it's set up and ready to go. This can be really handy if you have a need to take something throughout the month, multiple times a day. It's just a system that lets you keep up with it and see it. They have an additional one. If you look right here, there's space here where it has a pill alarm. And it's just a little, you can set it to go off 6 different times a day. So this can be really handy if you're like home all day and you need an alarm. But a lot of us, maybe going to work, the office, and you're just taking that day with you and keeping it with you. And maybe you have a phone alarm to remind you. But this guy was $42.50. So it's bulky. It takes up, if you're going to have it on the counter or on a nightstand or something. So I couldn't justify, but I thought I can, kind of pretty much demonstrate it just by printing out a picture and holding it up. So I want you to know that that is an option out there if you're trying to keep up with medication multiple times a day. If that's something that would serve you, I want you to know that that is out there, and it had really good reviews, and it looks very friendly in terms of keeping up with it. The thing I know from clients that I have that have talked about having to take medication throughout the day, filling it for a month can create a lot of resistance. So I would encourage, if that's something you need to do either for the week or the month, if you have resistance to doing that, which I get, and we need structure for that. So maybe find a time to body double with somebody. Do it when you're able to maybe have somebody else with you or on a call, or tap into a body double session where you can do it along with somebody else that's working on something at the same time to help create that energy to get it done, so that you then enjoy every day for the rest of the week or the month, having everything ready to go for you and you're not having to fuss with it every time. Okay. So that is it for this year's medicine cabinet tune-up episode. If you found something sparkly, again, this is episode 156. Share what works for you. Like Becca shared the little twister. I'm curious to check that one out because I don't love the pill cutter options that I've tried. All right. This week's book. This is a nonfiction book. It is called Brave the Wild River.
What's
and
it about?
The subtitle is The Untold Story of Two Women Who Mapped the Botany of the Grand Canyon. This is by Melissa L. Savigny. And I apologize, Melissa, if I said that wrong.
Cool.
So here is my little summary. Using the journals of botanists, I always think of the Martian. I'm a botanist. All right. Elzada Clover and Lois Jotter. Author Melissa Savigny tells their story. In 1938, they embarked on a 43-day journey down the Colorado River to try to be the first people to collect and catalog the plants of the Grand Canyon.
That's amazing.
It was a really interesting story. If you're interested in botany, if you're interested in women as trailblazers,
empowering
in women, if you think about 1938, they were doing this at a time in the country where women wore dresses, not pants. Women weren't seen as capable of doing this. They did have to go with multiple men on this journey, but they were discounted a lot and not really their mission. No, like everybody else's mission for the journey was like everybody had their own agenda. And that had its own challenges because what they were doing was seen as less important than when some of the other people were doing. And it was a real challenge, but it was very interesting. And some of their work is in the Smithsonian to this day. So they identified a few new species that had never been identified. And the Colorado River has changed so much since then that now it's like a trickle of a stream in places where they were riding through rapids back in 1938 because they built dams since then that really siphon the water in different places. So it was very interesting historically to learn about a place. And I've never been to the Grand Canyon, so I found it very interesting. So if that's something that interests you, I recommend it. All right. And now my quote of the week is from Charles Schulz, ironically. And this is what he said. He said, if I were given the opportunity to present a gift to the next generation, it would be the ability for each individual to learn to laugh at themselves.
Oh, I like that.
That's Charles Schulz,
It's a good
creator of
one.
Peanuts. You know, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, just to name a few. Maybe Woodstock, Linus, Lucy, Sally, Franklin, Schroeder. I don't know. All right, that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for checking it out. As always, until next time, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. So you're going from struggling to thriving with your ADHD brain, and capture what works for you in your personal owner's manual. Until next time, tally ho.